Hello, everyone, and welcome to this Next Gen Careers Expert Talk. I'm going to do a brief introduction of myself and Next Gen Careers, and then obviously introduce our interviewee of this week. So Next Gen Careers is all about supporting individuals in finding success in the future world of work. So how do we do this? We have a digital platform, which is called the Career Exploration Platform, where we run online courses in career design and also in skills development. We also run on-site courses here in Barcelona and other parts of the world. And on our digital platform, we also provide free resources about the fields most prominent in the future world of work, which is like sciences, engineering, and computing, which we will be touching upon today. We also cover social impact, health and wellness, etc. And we also run these weekly expert talks with professionals from the real world of work so that you can better prepare for what's out there. So my name is Cecilia, by the way, and I'm going to introduce our interviewee now, which is Renzo Santa Maria, who was born in Peru but has been living in Sweden for many years now. He pursued a career in bartending at first and has worked at many award-winning bars around Stockholm. But after spending some years in hospitality, Renzo found out about coding and from a close friend, and he started learning it on his own. But it was mainly for fun at first. But since the pandemic took a big hit on the hospitality industry, Renzo decided to pivot his career and to pursue coding and web development more as a full-time thing. So he now works as a web developer for CC projects, and he's also studying at IT hogskolan in Stockholm. So today we will talk about Renzo's career change from slinging drinks behind the bar to now scripting code for big IT companies. So welcome, Renzo, to this talk. We're so happy to have you here.
Thank you so much for the nice welcome presentation.
Did I get that right?
Yeah, better than I could ever do, actually. Really good.
Yeah, so you've been going through like a career change basically like in these past couple of years. And yes. What has been, because I can imagine like working nighttime behind the bar, being around people all the time,
yeah,
and now mostly
the music
in front of a computer all day or night, depending on, I guess, when you choose to work. Like, what has been the biggest shift in your day-to-day since you decided to change careers? Because I can imagine it's been quite a massive change.
Yeah, it was a really big change. And I think it's been the interaction with people, that when you're working behind a bar, of course, it's very natural that you meet like lots of people every day or every night. And then when you're working or studying IT, you're just sitting with your computer, looking at a bunch of code, Googling lots. That's what you do. And so both, like the interaction with people, and also that when you're working behind a bar, you're standing up most of your shift, obviously. And then when you're working in IT, you're sitting down. You can actually take a break, drink some coffee, and that's okay. So that's the biggest change. Like, yeah, actually.
Yeah, and like I love how you mentioned, because I also come from hospitality industry from the start, and I can really relate to that. It's like, yeah, you can actually drink coffee, you can actually take breaks, because that's not always possible when you're working behind the bar.
No. And you can drink it when it's still warm,
Yeah, exactly.
And that's even better. Yeah.
A bit of an inside joke. They're always drinking cold coffee when you're working in restaurants.
Yeah, but it's always like that, and then you get to like it.
Yeah. Yeah, but that I can totally grasp that. But how is that? Because it sounds like your day-to-day must be less stressful now, or is it?
It depends, actually. Mm-hmm. It depends. It's another kind of stress.
Yeah.
Because I think, at least in my case, like I'm the one that is stressing myself, because you're kind of on your own. Yeah. I mean, of course, you can always reach out to another colleague or a friend or somebody else. But when you're writing a code, I mean, that's your code. You are writing it. And if you get a bug, it's like, oh my God, where is it? and then you get another kind of stress because you have to find something that like it's on you. You made that error. So it's
Yeah.
another kind of stress.
Yeah.
But
So
it's still
it's
fun.
not
It's
on
still
the
fun.
teamwork, like, or
Mhm.
yeah. Yeah.
And then you have deadlines, of course.
That's the thing. Yeah. I was thinking about that too, because that's not something
Mm.
really that you have in hospitality in the same sense.
Mm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and speaking a little bit about the shift from hospitality to IT, and like you come from a career which requires a lot of social skills and moving into a career that requires a lot of tech skills. So how's that transition been for you? Has it been a difficult journey or has it been cool?
not at all, actually. It's been quite easy since when you are working with a lot of people, you're used to talk to people, interact with them, being social, reaching out if you need any help. So that has helped me a lot, actually,
The
because
social skills are helping
yeah,
your career now, yeah.
they are really valuable actually in IT, since not it's not common to see super social people in the IT business. So I was never afraid to ask a question or reach out or contact people if I ever needed help or wanted to take the next step. Like, what can I do next after this? So then I got my answers much faster. So, and that helped me to make the right decisions and then move forward. And I think that's why I managed to come as far and like at this in only 1 year.
Yeah, because you started with
August last year.
yeah.
So
And now
it's
you're already
almost a year.
consulting for companies and you have your job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm already working a little bit, and that feels great. Actually, it's so nice to be able to help people from behind a computer.
See?
Like in the restaurant business, it's so rewarding when a customer is happy and you serve a drink or give super nice service, and you get that like confirmation that you are doing a great job. And it's the same in IT as well. If you do a great job, maybe you do it before the deadline, and the customer is super happy, and it's like exactly the same feeling. So rewarding, so nice.
That's amazing. And rewinding the tape a little bit. So, well, speaking in 90s language, I don't know if we're rewinding tapes anymore, but before you went to school, you started upskilling on your own.
Yeah.
And it must have required a lot of discipline. So how did you go about that? Because that's
Yeah.
a big
So
part of careers today, is that you don't necessarily need to go super deep or go and take a 4-year degree. Like you can, start on your own and see if you like it, and then maybe go into something more advanced.
especially IT, there is
Yeah.
tons of information, lots like free courses as well, online, YouTube, you name it. Like it all started with a friend of mine. He introduced me. He's a self-employed developer. So we were actually gaming that night. And then he told me like, yeah, no, I need to do some work now. And I was like, well, can you show me a little bit? Like, how is it? Like, what do you do when you're a developer? So he showed me a little bit, and he introduced me to this beautiful world. And I mean, there's lots of different languages when it comes to programming.
Can you name a few?
I'm studying JavaScript, and he's a JavaScript developer as well. And I always joke like, you're the main reason. It's your fault that I'm studying the JavaScript. So yeah, he introduced me, and I thought it was super nice, because I always enjoy this like problem solving and logical thinking.
Yeah.
And it's all about that. You have to like understand the problem, and then take a breath, and then okay, how am I gonna solve this? And for me, it's like a video game. So after he showed me that, I just started to look it up in in the internet. There is like I told you, tons of websites and even PDF if you like reading documentation. And that's why I was working at the bar still, and then I would go home and just sit down there because I was actually enjoying that. It wasn't like a must or oh I have to do this. It
No.
was like oh I want to learn it because it's so fun. It's so nice.
Yeah.
And it's something new. You're like creating software somehow, creating a website or like an algorithm, whatever, even games you can do.
Yeah.
So that pushed me a lot, and I was really, really, really enjoying it. So that's why I
Yeah.
continued.
No, that's great. So you didn't require that much discipline because you had a fire
Actually,
for
no,
it. Yeah.
no, it was super smooth.
Yeah, that's really cool. And I wanted to ask you something about, because you mentioned that there are so many coding languages
Yeah.
and you're focusing on JavaScript. But
Yes.
would you say, like, would you say it's hard to learn various languages?
No, I
No.
mean, yeah. Once you are like, once you kind of language, like once you learn a language, like JavaScript or whatever other language, then it's really easy to understand other languages
The other ones, yeah.
since it's the same logic.
Yeah.
You're working like with loops, with conditionals, like if this happened to this, if this other thing happens, then execute this. So it's the same kind of logic behind the scenes, but of course different words, maybe different commands. So yeah, you can shift, and it's very common actually that you start with one language and then you go on to the next one.
That makes sense. Great. And speaking a little bit about the future of web development, because obviously moving forward in the future, tech is going to be a big, big thing. They were even teaching code in like elementary schools at this point. So
Yes.
So what do you think of the future of the field in web development, just generally? How will
The future is it's big. I mean, not for so long ago we were able to surf, like going to the websites from the phone.
Yeah.
This was maybe for like 15 years ago, maybe more, maybe less. And then we had these super nice websites, and then we had these mobile applications, and now like streaming Netflix from the phone, it feels so natural, but it wasn't for not so long ago. So I really see like a huge future in IT. You never know what's gonna come like in 2-3 years. So it's really exciting to like being a part of this right now. I'm studying, of course, web development, but I'm also going to be able to develop application for cell phones. And then you have like this face recognition and all these features. So it's super exciting to see what's to come. Definitely.
Yeah, no, the development is going so fast, and I guess this is where upskilling and like learning on your own becomes so important.
Yeah.
And just staying on top of things, which is hard, but something that we got to do if we're going to dedicate a career to IT.
I think in IT you will never be able to learn everything. It's so much, like it's huge, it's super huge. Even in like in web development, you can specialize maybe like in WordPress, some people do, or you can do only like native code for your website, or different libraries. Like it's so much, it's super fun. It's also why I enjoy it so much, because there's always something new, always something to learn. Like you never get bored.
That's really cool. That's amazing. So if we wanted like a guaranteed career, should go into tech for sure. Okay, moving on actually to the last part of this interview, which is 3 questions that we ask everyone that come on these talks, which are 3 short questions with 3 short answers. So here we go. What good in the world does your job do?
Well, depending on the customer, of course, you always say give a service to the customer. You make someone happy. It can be like, okay, I want to change the layout of my website so I can attract more customers. or like the buy button is, I don't know, gray, I want it green. And then you help them, and then they get more clicks, they sell more. It can be such a small job, or maybe they have an app idea and they really want, it's like their dream all their life, they were thinking about this idea, and then you help them, you develop the application, and then they fulfill a dream. It's like, and also more like serious stuff, you know, like when the vaccine came now, you can book the vaccine through applications or the website, so you can actually make it easier for people, you know, like intercommunication of people. So I think that's great.
Yeah, that's great. That's actually something that I know this was supposed to be short questions and short answers, but I just want to follow up on that. At least for me, I think when I think IT, I think just tech and algorithms and things, and like I don't necessarily think about the good it does in the world, or it can do in the world. Technology doesn't have to be your enemy. It can actually be our
no. I mean, look at us. We're
well.
having an interview through Zoom that wasn't possible before. So yeah, that's something good too, actually.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. And what part of your job makes you want to wake up in the morning?
I think the code. Like sometimes when I go to bed, I'm still thinking about the code, and I was like, oh yeah, now I know. It's like I'm visual. I have the screen in my head, and I'm like, okay, line 31. That was the problem. No, like I love it. Like when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna crack this code now. Today's happening. It's like a video game.
Yeah.
Go in and then you solve it, and it's so rewarding. It's like you go to the next level. I love it.
I love that reference. Like you get to the
next. It's exactly how I feel. Actually, I don't know the other guys, but for me, it's exactly like that.
It sounds so much fun. I'm gonna get into coding now.
Call me.
Yeah. And what advice would you give to anyone who wants to start exploring this field today or get into this field today?
Okay, yeah, that's a good question, actually. I mean, you have different languages because they fulfill different purposes. If you want to develop like an interface such as on website, then maybe you want to go for JavaScript. But if you want to do more, like we call it backend, like behind the scenes, maybe you go for other language. So be sure to know whatever you want to do first. Like, what do you think is interesting? Okay, I want to do this kind of job. All right, what do I need? Which language should I learn then? And I think that's the best, the first step if you want to get into IT. I mean, as a developer. And then just research, help, like ask for help. There is this web page called Stack Overflow. That's a developer's best friend. It's lots of people, and they always answer your questions. So you have lots of friends for free. Just ask, or call somebody that, like, call a friend or a friend of a friend. There is always somebody that wants to help, especially developers. We love talking about code.
Can we call you Renzo if we need help?
Please call me.
That's great. So first think of which part of, like, if you want to do front end, back end, what interests you most, and then base the language you want to learn on that, and then ask for help and talk to them.
You can always ask for help. It's super easy, and you find lots of tutorials, and especially YouTube, it's tons of tutorials for free.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I do research as well for our digital platform, and there's so much, like, I don't know where to start when it comes to coding. So many different videos, so many different angles, both on like careers, but also like how to learn code. And I've come across so many different forums and Stack Overflow as well. It's like there's so much there. So like you could probably just, you know, launch your own career in programming and coding without even needing to go to school. Even though school helps, I bet.
I'm not like
by people who do the same thing.
No, but that is possible though. You can actually see that on LinkedIn now. Like these more modern recruiters, they don't care if you went to school or not. The most important thing at the end of the day is that you actually can do the job.
Yeah.
Especially in IT, because there is so much free information.
Yeah. So how do you prove that you can do it? Usually during, like, do you build your portfolio somehow, or?
That's one way, yes.
Okay.
But usually I'm gonna do my internship in August, so I was doing a code test. Always you send your CV, they call you for an interview, you talk a little bit, and like standard questions mostly.
Yeah.
And then they send you like a test. And then depending on how you do in the test, they call you for another interview or maybe not. So yeah, that's
just to know what to expect when you're applying for, what you should prepare, I guess, when you're applying for these positions. Yeah.
Like I got like super different tests the last 2 companies that I applied for. So I don't know, it's really hard to prepare for this because some of the companies, they use like super old tests.
Yeah.
And others only test like algorithms, and it's super hard. So I don't think you can actually like, okay, I'm gonna read this and that, so I'm gonna be ready for the test. I think it's like it can be whatever.
Yeah.
So just relax.
Okay.
And sometimes, yeah, and I heard stories like maybe you didn't get the best score at the test, but maybe they like you at the interview, so they give you another chance. I heard lots of those stories as well. So it's okay.
Personality matters, social skills matters in IT as well. I love that. Yeah. Awesome. I'm going to wrap this interview up here, and we're going to leave some space for any questions for the participants that are joining this call with us today. But I just want to say a big thank you, Renzo, for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and
Super
for anyone
fun.
who wants to connect with Renzo, I'll put his LinkedIn below this video and any questions as well. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.